We are the creators of reality. Those who have mastered perseverance, those who thrive despite attempts to thwart us, those who make magic at the root of the very trees they hung us from. We are the mountains and the rivers. We are the sun and the moon. We are sand and gems. We are the first and the final. We be big and small. We be light and dark. We be seasoned and youthful. We be sensual and sacred. Those gifted and divine. Those powerful and radical. Those vibrant and ancestral. We are the creators of reality. We are the Black Oasis. Welcome to the Black Oasis podcast. I'm your host, Kaya Supreme, and this is the place where we lay it all down. Now, not first of all, not only is the brother that we're talking to today one of the most profound, divine, authentic, supportive, beautiful men that I have ever met in my entire life. But even in this moment, like what y'all are witnessing right now is what you're about to witness is just how we flow. Spirit is the glue in our relationship. And anytime that we talk, anytime that we vibe, anytime that we're in each other's presence, we just have the most I could talk to him for hours. We just have the most life-changing moments. And I expect nothing less because the timing of it all, all things in divine order. So anyway, without further ado, I am going to introduce to you all the man, the myth, the legend, the warrior, the lover, the father, the brother, the divine spirit, Akinshaye! Woo, 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 woo.
Ashe. Thank you, Kaya.
Welcome, my beautiful, beautiful brother. Welcome.
Thank you.
Oh no, thank you, thank you, because I think we both just be being, and spirit does the rest. Spirit does the rest. So, why don't you just start off with telling us a little bit about yourself? Tell us what Akinsheye means, and just tell us who you be.
Akinsheye is a name that I was given by the house of Nguyen and Zinga in the north. And Akinsheye means valor acts honorably. You know that they try to give you names to call you up, right? That name means a lot to me. I think, me getting married recently and who my wife is, she actually was also or, divinely inspired to be in my life because she calls me up higher, like telling me, she's the only person I think who could calm me down when I get almost out of character. Like she really keeps me she could just touch my forehead, and it's like I like calm down. Or she'll tell me something. She'll give me a couple of words and stuff if I'm maybe frustrated about a situation that just changes the whole perspective of it, and it gives me the honor. It makes me look and check back into my honor. So you cannot have valor without the honor, right? Because you can have courage and be willing to face danger and all that stuff, but if it's dishonorable, then you may be dishonoring yourself and others around you.
Yeah, I know. I love y'all's love. I had the pleasure of being not only meeting Jasmine and knowing you both, but then being at your wedding ceremony. It was like going on a retreat. It was like it was like going out of town and going to like some workshop where you came back cleansed, like we walked on fire and coals or something. But really, it was just you're always just like so vulnerable and transparent and authentic. So we got to go through every emotion you went through before you got to that moment. We got to celebrate. We got to be loud and we got to be full and free. It was just like the absolute best time. And then, when I get to see you all in tandem, when I get to see you all, around one another and I see how much you complement one another, You know what I mean? Like it's it's the best meal.
Right.
It's the best meal. It's so good to see. Shout out to Jasmine. Love you, girl.
Love you.
Um, so, we talk about names on this show a lot. And especially the people that, I interview, I ask every single one of them about their names and what it means to them and how it calls them forward. Um, and, as I know your story and I know who you are, you know what I mean? And we are both living proof of transformation. We are both living proof of the power of changing one's mind and committing to spirit. You know, when you think about your name and when you think about where you are today, you know, why do you think you were given the name that you were given, and how has it benefited you?
Wow. Why do I think I was given that name? Wow. I can only say what I think, right?
Of course,
Because I never really asked them why they gave me
yeah,
that particular name. They said spirit, right? So I was okay.
right,
I should. Um, I was given that name, I believe, because I might have been, vulnerability, right? Um, I was involved in some things that were dishonorable. You know,
yeah,
I was involved with some things that were dishonorable, and at the same time, um, I can be considered. I feel like I'm a strong person. I'm like a. I'm, I was involved in like violence and stuff, and so then it that violence kind of like embraced my whole life. Like that's the way I would just. That's my response. It's unfortunate. It's not anymore, but at that time in 2014 or whatever, that was my response, and the name allowed me to not accept every challenge.
yeah.
That was deep. That was the moment that I became a Kinsheye. That
Ooh,
moment that I knew that okay, I don't have to accept every challenge because it don't matter if a person's walking by at that time, like walking by me on the street and then they start looking at me a certain way. Unfortunately, I'm so embarrassed about now. I'm so embarrassed about that's how I was, right? And and then it would be like jump, jump, It was just like I think my whole childhood, from like from 4 years old, I think it was just I was exposed to a lot of violence,
yeah,
straight violence, and then I was brought up in martial arts, and I'm a first generation Haitian born in this country. So my parents were from Haiti, and they had a violent way of disciplining you.
yeah,
It was just all around and everything. And then Jamaica Queens out there, and just you know that was just an unfortunate circumstance that I had to go through, um, and I didn't know how to navigate that, and I didn't have much guidance. I
yeah.
didn't have much guidance, and then my parents were trying to get it together and just trying to live. This was better. This
Right.
was better,
This that,
So I'm grateful to them for all that they were able to do.
yeah,
But yeah, that's how I remember it. And at the end of the day, I just remembered like that glaring sign, like a neon light. You don't have to accept every challenge.
yeah. Yeah, I think of two things. The first, the part that of your name that means the most to me when I hear you say it, right? Because we give each other our names, right? We give each other ourselves.
Yeah.
We're not here for me. For us. I'm here for you, and you're here for
Okay.
me.
Yes, ma'am.
Is the word valor, and despite um, what we may believe about ourselves, what you may believe about you, right? I have always known you to be valiant, even if the way in which you expressed, right, your conviction and your passion and your desire for righteousness may have been what you called violent, right? Even if it was intense or if it was off putting, the intention. I have never known you not to be a valiant motherfucker. I've never known you not to be valiant. And so that process has been beautiful to watch you cling to honor, because our intentions coupled with character save our lives,
Mm.
save everybody's lives, and it allows God to show up in the shell that we've been given. And so I just thank you for your commitment to being honorable. It's okay to look back and cringe. Listen, my name means never go back.
Mm.
What the hell? What y'all trying to say? What y'all trying to say? They said it,
Yes,
and it
they
was
did.
said, and it was true. And but for when I think of my name and I think of all, like I think of back. Oh my God! I'm like, oh, are you serious? But it's beautiful.
It is.
It's
It is.
beautiful. It's beautiful. What a blessing to be aware and to see and to know. You know what I'm saying? That we ain't that no more.
No.
So much so that it feels foreign.
Yes. It was.
Who
I
I
mean,
was for most of my life.
it's true. It's true. I mean, this ain't but less than a decade. You know what I mean? Less than the 10 years.
Yeah,
I mean, we're over here in the
yeah,
East. But oh, I mean that saying that there cannot be light without the darkness. Like you can appreciate who you are. I can appreciate who you are because I know. You know what I'm saying? I
no, you
know.
with it.
Yeah, and man, there was one. My father, he could physically discipline me. It felt like within an inch of my life, you know.
Yeah.
And then I was 12 years old. I was able to turn that around in the outside, with bullies and stuff like that. And I know how to do that to somebody, you know.
Mm-hmm.
And because I
Mm-hmm.
was able to experience it, so now I could do it. And sometimes it felt like I was paying the world back with
Mm-hmm.
with the pain that I experienced. So I was looking for a reason, for why I need to let this out. It was just so emotionally tough. It was
Yeah.
emotionally tough, and there was no outlet but to blow up and
Yeah.
explode. And unfortunately, it would just be on other people, you know.
Yeah.
But I don't think I started trouble. I don't think I started trouble. You know what I mean? I don't think
Yeah.
I did. My mother always
Yeah.
thought I did. She was like, "You always started trouble." I'm like, "Why?" Because I fight every day. But I'm saying I'm saying I'm a pretty boy. You know what I mean? They can slap me for breathing and stuff. And then when they find out, it's different. And then but I don't stop. And that's what the
Yeah.
problem is. Like I'll go overboard and I make sure that I over exaggerate the expression of it because I don't want you to come back over here and I want everybody to hear about it.
Yeah.
That was just
Facts.
the way of survival. That's the
Facts.
how to get through that part, man. That part was crazy. The 80s, man. The
Yeah.
80s out here. It was
No,
serious out there.
but that's what happens when a lover has to become a fighter. You know what I mean? Because it's like I'm gonna do whatever I have to take to make sure the situation doesn't happen again. Because truly, the intention is peace. You know,
Sure,
the
yes.
intention is peace. I also think about and this is for those of y'all who don't know, he's a martial artist, but a martial art god at that. Okay, we're gonna talk about that in a second, but when I think about of course, you have this very strong warrior energy. This you are like literally you ooze inspiration everywhere you go. But you manifest a discipline in your life. You manifest a power in your life, an intensity, an intoxication from anyone who's around you that is just so strong and noble. And every fighter movie or every martial arts movie I've ever seen, shout out to my daddy for putting me on, any martial arts movie I've ever seen, it's always about knowing when not to fight. It's always making sure that fighting is the last resort in the situation. It's like I have all the power. I am a weapon. I am a lethal weapon. But I have so much spiritual foundation that I only use this as when it's absolutely necessary. As a matter of fact, the absence of my fight is a weapon. The moments where I offer grace and the moments where I don't choose and I don't accept every single challenge, that's the weapon.
Yeah.
That blows minds. You know what I'm saying? It's like when we know you could chop our goddamn necks off, but you don't. What is the magnitude of those moments? And I think I've seen you harness that silence, harness that peace and that stillness where you just I'm gonna just sit in something right quick. I know I need to sit in something right quick. Oh, I know I need this boundary. Oh, I need to speak up for this. So I know what I believe in, and it's one of the things I admire the most about you is your restraint. Your restraint. So we talked about we kind of got into this fight and shit, but you know you you opened a martial arts school in New York, right? Number one, just please tell me and tell everybody the story about how that came to be, and what the journey was like through that teaching and offering people training.
I mean, contrary to the way you expressed a martial artist's energy and stuff, that's not the way I was trained. In the, the like those, that's like masterful level on another level, and I wasn't there. You know what I mean? Actually, my style of karate, they was full contact, no protection. You know, you don't wear a mouthpiece, you don't wear no gloves. You just the way you are right now, and you fight until you knock somebody out. That was the tournament, right?
Yeah.
And then there's 3, 4, or could be 5. I think there was one time when I went to Europe. I mean, I fought 5 freaking different champions because it was a world tournament, and these guys, Russia, Poland, Netherlands, and Holland, and all of these, Japan, and everything, they came to fight, and they were all champions from all over Europe, and I had to fight every single one. I beat all of them, thank God, you know. But this style right here was they were aggressive. They were
Mm-hmm.
aggressive. They were like, and they actually, when we were learning, they were like, go try it and stuff. They tell you to go fight and stuff because they want you to know that it worked. So
Yeah.
it was a contrary thing. So all of that, and that's like 1980s, early 90s, you know. So
Mm-hmm.
it was a different experience of martial arts because the way that this style was put together, I think it was 30s, and then in Japan they had a parking lot, and the guy he put a article in the newspaper. He put out a thing, and he called all fighters, wrestling, kung fu, jujitsu, judo, all y'all, boxers, whatever, street fighters, come to the parking lot and let's see which technique works the best. And
Yeah.
everybody would fly. There's blood on the concrete every day. This is the stories that I heard growing up, and they would write down the techniques that worked most effectively. And
Yeah.
over the course of a few years, continuing to do that and extracting the best techniques, they put together this style which they called the extreme truth.
Mm.
It's called the Kyokushin,
Mm.
Kyokushin Kaikan, the extreme truth. And they had all of the best moves of all of the styles and stuff like that, and they put it all together into a form of martial arts. But it was like to fight and to make sure you can defend yourself, you know. But so then the story goes, so I went through that process. At 17, I wasn't really doing much. I told you the way, in the beginning, how I was coming up. So my father was like, go to the military or go live with the master who taught him. Because
Mm.
my father also was a martial artist. He was a 5th degree black belt under Soshu Shigeru Oyama, who he was that dude was no joke. He fought like 100 men in order to get the right to come to America and teach karate.
Wow.
Yeah, so and literally like 100 men hard fighting and stuff, you know.
Wow.
So my father learned from this guy, and then he told me to go. I was like, I'm not going to no, I was already into like black nationalist thought and stuff like that. So I'm not about to go to no man's army and try to kill somebody else over there. So I was like, all right, I'll go live with the master. What's up? Whatever. So I went and go live with the master. Oh my Lord, have mercy. That was hard, bro. It was like 16 hours a day. I was sore. My body was physically sore for 1 year. Every day for 1 year. Right? I was sleeping on a sleeping bag on the dojo floor in the karate school. I would be sleeping and my toes start separating and cramping up. I'm like, ah. I mean, oh my God, it was serious, man. All day, just training, and that helped me. That helped me. I didn't go outside. I didn't go outside. I remember if I go back in my mind and I remember that time, I remember the leaves falling, I remember rain, and I remember snow and sunshine. Those are the seasons. I didn't go outside. You couldn't
Damn.
allow it. And I was drinking green tea. That's all I could drink. I mean, the first time I had some orange juice, boy, woo, it was good.
I
But yeah.
can't.
So, oh yeah, I'm trying to get them to the story now. So I went through that. I went through that martial arts experience of living with the Grand Master, and 500 push-ups on your knuckles on 2x4 wood every day. 500 push-ups, 250 squats, 500 calf raises. That was the daily training. That was your warm up, and then you fight 10 rounds with those uchideshis. Uchideshi means inside student.
Okay.
All right, inside student, the uchideshi. Those are the special elite of the style, and those people just live and breathe karate for 5 years. That was their commitment. And after the 5 years, social would allow them to open a school.
Yeah.
Right. So I didn't have to pay. Like they would pay him $20,000 to sleep on the floor and scrub everything and teach and train, and that he was taking care of my child support. He was giving
What?
me, yeah, the master. He took me in, and he was paying my child support. I think it was because I don't think that they respected my father.
Yeah.
I don't think they did the way that they respected each other.
Yeah.
So I noticed that
Yeah.
as I was growing up. I'm 12, 13. I'm seeing him discuss things with other senseis. And just the,
Mm-hmm.
the vibe, I'm like, yo, it's like my pops is trying to fit into something, you know?
Yeah.
So I vowed. I was like, I'm going to make them respect my pops. That
Ooh.
was my why. That was my reason.
Ooh.
And I remember when I went to the dojo, man, I went and I beat every single one of them. You know what I'm saying? I beat every single one. I never lost, yo. I never lost. It was only because I had a reason, And I
Yeah.
remember the first time I was 17. That was the first time I fought in a full contact tournament. It's different with the gloves off. It was my first tournament. I had gloves on, shin guards, helmet, and they said go knock each other out. You can still fight as hard as you can for 3 minutes and 3 rounds. I think it was three rounds. I think it was 3 rounds. You go hard, try to knock each other out. If it lasts 3 rounds, right?
Yeah.
And that joint, when they took off, it was like, all right, now you're full contact. Now no protection. The same kind of fighting. Don't worry, no rules are different. Just you don't
Right.
have the gloves, no helmet, no protection. You go hard. Now the fight ends quicker and a lot more blood and stuff.
Yeah.
Um, and I remember that I was 17 years old. We were in the County Cobb Center in Atlanta. That was my first tournament.
My
Yeah,
God.
and that was a world tournament. Japan and all of that came. Russia, Poland, Holland, they all came, and I won. I remember going outside on the bleachers, and I was like in the sun. I was scared to death. You know what I mean? I'm hearing stories about people coming with their arm broken. They try to block a kick, and then the guy's arm is broken and stuff. And I'm like, damn. I'm 17. And I'm going outside in the bleachers and I'm in the sun. I'm trying to get the sun to energize me. I'm like, yo, sun, come on, bring me up. And I was seeing myself with fire on my fists and my legs, and I was picturing myself in the tournament fighting whoever I was fighting, hitting them with fire from my fist, bang, bang, like I was the sun. And I, thank goodness I won. I won every fight I won over there, and I felt like, all right, good. So now the next tournament came. I was like, I have to win. It was so important for me to win because now it would be I had beginner's luck. And I was like, I can't let them say that. I'm gonna make
Mm.
them respect my pops. So I'm gonna beat
Mm.
the Japanese people. I'm gonna beat all of those European champions. I'm gonna beat
Mm.
every single body. I have to. It
Mm.
was important for me. Like it was just a burning man. Like I was like, I have to. It was like life or death for me. There was nothing else that mattered. Because I didn't go to school. I didn't go to the army. I went to
Mm-hmm.
the karate school and I lived there. So I was like, everything I ever learned from the first time I experienced violence, I'm gonna put that all into this fight right here. Every single time I had a competition, I would feel that, I would think that. And then I won the next fight too. I won the next tournament, I won it. And I was 18, and they started recognizing me. And then 2, 3 other tournaments. They took me to Europe. You know what I'm saying? They paid for my stuff, my hotel, my veal parmesan and all that in the hotel. And I beat all the European champions. I was 19. I was 19. I beat all the European champions. The master was very proud of me. And
Yeah.
he would never say nothing in front of me. But everybody in the dojo, they would come up to me. They'd be like, "Yo, Social was talking about you. He's real proud of you." He would slap me and stuff. Yo,
Yeah.
the first fight that I had in Holland, my first competition came up. I was working on this kick with my pops because the Holland fighters, they have a link with Thailand, and
Mm.
they train kickboxing, Muay Thai kickboxing,
Mm.
right? So they hold their hands a certain way like this, up
Yeah.
by their head. They hold it open, but there's a gap in the middle. So my pops had me try this kick it would be like a roundhouse kick, but it wasn't normal because I would point my knee to the floor, and then my foot would come like a straight angle to the face. Bah! So I was trying to, so I caught the dude with the first one, but it wasn't, I was so nervous, B. I couldn't even warm up. I was like, you're supposed to hit the pads and warm up, and I was so
Yeah.
scared. Because I was in Holland now. I'm in Holland and stuff, man.
Right.
So I couldn't even warm up. I was like, I'm about to warm up in the ring because my nerves are not letting me do it. So I got in the ring. I caught him with the first one, but it was weak. It just slapped him. Pap! I was like, oh, damn. It didn't work. And then I warmed up. I knocked him out in the second round. Dang, the uppercut. I caught him with a body blow right into the cell. I felt like my fist sunk into his stomach maybe 2 or 3 inches. I remember feeling it. Bam!
Wow.
I put all my weight into that. And he laid down for 5 minutes or something. Yeah, carry him out with a stretcher just from a body shot. And everybody's congratulating me. Yeah, all right, get ready for the next one. And they're telling me about the next fighter who's a champion. This guy is on the card. They advertise this guy is the guy to beat. I got to fight this guy next. Everybody's congratulating me. And then here I go. I see the master walking up real fast and stuff. And I'm like, oh, he's about to give me a hug or something. This dude cold slapped me in the face. Plow! And at the same time, a tear came out my eye simultaneously. That's how his hands was. A tear went all the way down to my chin. And I was like, us. Us is like a term of respect. It means yes, it means no. That's how they teach you. They're like, you don't say anything, don't speak. Yes. You say us. You understand? Us. You don't understand? Us. You like it? Us. You don't like it? Us. Just say us and do what you gotta do. So he slapped me black lads. Yo, and I said, us. Because I was living with him at the time, right? And he was like, this way, because he was telling me I messed up in the first round. I scared him to death. Because that's like his honor, too. He paid for this guy to come from New York, and that's his honor. He's coming to bring a fighter up there, and I probably scared him in the first round because I wasn't doing too good. I had to warm up. And then he was telling me, you got to uppercut and this, that, and the other, do this, that, and the other. I was like, he would never talk to me in my face and tell me how good I did, right?
Yeah.
But I heard it from other people that he was talking about me. I saw him walking around with his thumbs in his suspenders and stuff, looking at the other masters over there, like, yeah, it's my student right here.
That's beautiful.
So I think that after that European tournament in Holland, where it was a world tournament and I beat all the European champions, I think they started respecting me. And then they asked me, hey, I should back up. Before I went to Holland, before I went to Atlanta, I was 17. So the master called me into his office and he was like, hey, I want you to fight in the full contact tournament. And I was like, I have to ask my father. That was my end right there, to be like, I have to ask my father. So that they had to go to my father and ask his permission. Every single time when they wanted me to go to Europe, I was like, no problem. I have to ask my father, because my father's the one that made me. You know what I mean? Like, the reason why the master wanted me to live with him is because when I was 15, I beat his Uchideshi. I wasn't living with him. My father trained me. And I broke my knuckle. It's still. You see this?
Yes.
I broke this at 15 years old, fighting grown men, because I was in the ring with them, and I think I caught him and he blocked with his elbow. I was trying to catch him with a body blow, and he blocked with his elbow. That was the first place fight, because I beat all the other people, and now we're at the first place fight, and he was the live-in student. He was the first American Uchideshi. The first American. There was never an American. It was always all the Japanese. So this guy was the first American Uchideshi, and then I broke my knuckle on his elbow. And I didn't notice at the time. I kept on hitting him with the same hand. It didn't matter and stuff. But after that, I was like, "Is this broken?" They were looking at it. They were like, "Yep, that's broken." So, but anyway, after that, when I told them that they had to ask my father permission, and I had to ask my father, I think they started respecting my father. And man, and I wanted to put my pops on the map like that, and I did. And then I was like, now I can't lose, because now I'm the champion, and now I'm in newspapers and stuff like that. So now, like, now I gotta maintain. Yeah. And I maintained, man, from 1993 to 2001. That was when my last real fight in that style of karate was 2001 at Hunter College in New York City.
Wow.
And I won that one too, thank goodness. You know what I'm saying? And now I'm 48 years old, right? And I was just selected to fight in Panama City, Panama, in this it's called Sambo. It's like a Russian martial arts self-defense without weapon, but it's combat Sambo. So you throwing punches, elbows to the face, knee kicks and stuff like that. Then you do judo, jujitsu, wrestling. It's everything, ground and pound and all. It's like an MMA tournament. You know what I'm saying? So that's in August. That's
I'm coming.
August 17th to the 20th.
I'm coming.
But I'm like, yo, dude, like, I gotta slow down because I mean, it's hard to train right now. I'm training, I'm hurting myself. I'm like, oh, I'm old, but I'm still. I had a few fights already. I had one cage fight, and there was this guy who was 24 years old, and he was 230 pounds, man, heavier than me. I was like, what happened to the weight class? They were like, just go in there. So I got in this cage, and I beat the dude. Man. That was something else. I was like surprised. I had some blood on my face, though. I had a little scar right here, and yeah. But so I think I got a little better. I understand the style a little bit more now. So I think we'll see what happens. Instead, this Saturday I got one over here in Greensboro. There's a sambo tournament. I'm gonna go to that one, and then July 15th. That's one thing in South Carolina, and then August. This might be my last year though, because I mean it don't hurt too much, man. Just to train, I'm like, I don't know. But this is like it's been life, and martial arts has taken me around the world, man. It's taken me around the world. It's changed my perspective. I've met people that invest in me. They invest in me, because of what I've been able to perform. They invested in me, so it was great. After this martial art thing, 2001 and all that stuff, I stopped doing martial arts. My last time seeing my father alive was at the 1997 tournament in Westchester County Center in New York.
Wow.
Pops passed away, but that was the last time I saw him. And he always gave me a little tip right before I went in the ring,
Yeah.
And he gave me this one tip, like uppercut and then spinning back kick at the same time, like real close. When you're real close, uppercut, and spinning back kick right there. So I was like, I'm gonna try that. But that was the first time he gave it to me, so I missed the dude by like an inch with that spinning back kick. But I ended up winning the tournament. But then he passed 2 weeks later, and I never saw him again from that day of that tournament. I never saw him again. And I remember promising him, because I got good, I got kind of good. I feel like I mastered that style.
Yeah.
And I didn't train very well for that 1997 tournament. I had a hard time with competitors that may not have been elite level. They might not have been elite level, but they worked hard.
Yeah.
And man, I was hurt, bro. They broke me up. I was hurt, but I won, but I was broken.
Yeah.
I was like, I gotta go. I had somebody drive me home and stuff. I was hurting for like 2 weeks, man. It was my ribs was cracked and stuff. My shin bones was like golf balls because you had no protection on. So yeah, man, what a memory. Anyway, I remember promising my father, I said I won't fight again unless I train.
Yeah.
So I have to make sure I train because I'm gonna fight on this Saturday and I ain't really trained that well. So I'm like, oh man, I gotta get that. So I'm gonna use this tournament on Saturday, this 24th, June 24th. I'm gonna use that, and then I'm gonna train for the 15th. You know what I'm saying? I'll make sure. So we'll see how it goes. After it took 18 years for me to open a karate school. I felt like I was gonna go in a different direction. I was a bartender for 7 years in New York, and there was like bartender competitions. You could win $250,000 and get your name on stuff. I was like, yeah, man, that's what I'm about to do. So I didn't do anything. And then one of my good friends that I grew up with, he ended up being in that place that I worked. It was a private members club. Well, only, people in the industry, the music industry or film, those are the people who would be there. It was private. You had to pay, I don't know how much money, but you had to pay to be in there to spend $20 on a drink and I don't know how much on the food. And this dude was up in there, and I'm like, oh snap, what's up? And he was like, hey, I need to train. I want you to train me. And I was like, all right. He lived across the street from the Barclays Center in Brooklyn. I live in the Bronx, all the way up top, like the top of the Bronx, like by was it Woodside or something? What was it? I think it was Woodside or something, like after Fordham Road, all the way up on the 4 train. Yo, you was up there. You remember the Bronx? What was it?
Yes.
Remember that? Brooklyn, yo. He was like, I need you to train me. So I was like, all right. I didn't want to do it. I would do it, but I was like, you got to come to my house and wake me up because I'm working, the closing shift. I get out of here at 3, 4 o'clock in the morning. So I ain't going nowhere. You gonna come to my house, knock on my door, wake me up? Cool. That was my first student. He actually came, and he actually was consistent and continued to come and train. And then another person came, and then another person came. And then a guy at my job broke up with his girl. He was depressed. I was like, yo, you need to hit the pads. Come to my house. We train on the Saturdays and stuff. Just come up there. He started coming and he was consistent. So then next thing you know, I got a whole house full of people. I got people in the living room. I had no furniture in my apartment. It was just the living room. And then people was out in the kitchen and stuff. I remember Turi Tama came and he was up in the kitchen and stuff. I'm like, I gotta open the school, son. So it was Marcus Paul, yo. Marcus Paul was my first student, and he's the one who really inspired me and was the impetus for me to open a dojo. So then I called Mo. Mo is a Mahali Al-Bathia. He's an actor, producer. There's a movie called The Empty Hands that's coming out on Hulu. I'm in that joint. I got a fight scene with Master Mo. Yeah, and it's a pretty good fight scene. It's called It's called The Empty Hands. So yeah, that was an interesting thing right there. So I called him because I was like, he's a successful martial artist actually doing the business. So I called Mo and I was like, hey Mo, I want to open a school, you know what I'm saying? Can you help me out? What do I got to do? And he was like, meet me over here. All right. So I met him where he told me to meet him at. It was his school. He was teaching karate at a church. And then he was like, I want you to meet me downtown at 3rd Street.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, maybe you're going to be able to take over and teach over there. And I was like, all right, cool. So I went over there. And then the rest is history. I got in there and I started teaching 3 years. And then the pandemic hit. The school was blowing up, baby. The school was going to. I had people coming with their kids talking about, I hear how good this place is, and you're not calling me back. I was mad, baby. I was upset. And I was like, I'm sorry, there's a waiting list now.
Yeah.
And also my wife has to get credit for that too, because I was up there for 2 years and I had like probably 1 or 2 students, and I was just doing it for the love of it.
Mm-hmm.
And then after she got in there and she organized some stuff, you couldn't stop it, bro. I got scared. I started needing help. I was like, oh, there's too many people here. I need an employee or something.
Yeah.
So that's how this karate school started. All that long background story. It was
Man.
The journey was dope.
Y'all, and look, you done forgot we on a podcast. Y'all.
Yeah.
This man is there are no words. You know what I'm saying? There are no words. It's just like, man, thank God. I'm just so glad I know you. I'm just so glad that I know you. And
to be interviewed on this podcast. You probably have you done one? Have you done one? Yeah. We're gonna get into DC. Yeah, we're having an in DC.
Hey, listen. I need somebody to interview me.
Yeah,
I'm looking. So I'm down for that because I can't, like some people can just get on and talk about themselves. I can't really. It don't come out right. So
I got you.
We definitely set that up. You'll be the perfect person.
No doubt.
Perfect person.
Because I know the questions to ask. Get you real vulnerable out here.
You're going to have to make that a separate segment, but I'm down. After your tournament, you got some downtime. Let me know.
All right, we do September, October or something like that. That's where my mind will probably be clear.
Okay. Yeah. So, I ask everybody that comes on the show one final question. And so I'm just going to ask you, if you could go to sleep and wake up tomorrow and have one thing come true for Black people, one thing, and I mean like you go to sleep, wake up, and it is so, what would it be?
One thing come true for Black people?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, a dream or like reality?
Or wish. Wish.
Oh,
I mean,
wish.
Reality.
Let this be an even playing ground. So that we could do our thing.
Yeah.
All the obstacles that are thrown in our way, and then it's underhanded, it's like it's sneaky, it's gaslighting, they gaslight you and stuff, talking about all kind of stuff, my wish would be for Black people that we would have an even playing field, that we would be able to just produce and work and be rewarded for our efforts equally as everybody else. Yeah, that's what I would wish, because I know we could do it. We're doing it. We're actually doing it with obstacles. We're doing it with obstacles. So we could. I mean, there's so many things like in Dugan and Zinga. Like all of that. Those little communities and stuff like that. They are doing something. Yeah. They're not just talking about it on a podcast, right? Oh, they're actually involved, and they're doing the work with other human beings, doing their best to call people higher.
Yeah.
Calling people higher to build your character. Love each other just because you're Black. I love you just because you're Black, with all your trauma and issues, where I know you might hurt me. I'm gonna
And I
forgive
might
you.
hurt you.
Yeah. And then we're gonna forgive and we're gonna move
Yeah.
forward and heal. And then we're gonna seek sight so that we can be able to
Yeah.
interact with each other on a harmonious level in a way where we have character and we build and we grow and that we can
Yeah.
accomplish. I remember when I went through my journey, my brother Keithley, my man was woofed out, cuz he had the beard, he had the hair. It was like he was just woofed out. And he had to go for a job interview. And he was like, yo, Baba, I'm going for a job interview. This is like, you know what I'm saying? Like, let me get a little trim. He was like, no. He said, no, go to the job interview and show your character. And on the merit of who you are, you get that job. And Keithley got the job, didn't he? With his woofed out beard looking like, I don't know, man. He was
I
looking,
already know. I
he
saw
looked,
it.
I love you, Keith. You know, it was
Yeah.
all of us looked rough. All of us was rough. You know, I was over in the
Everybody.
private members club. You know what I'm saying? I was in the private members club with my joint. My hair on my mouth was going in my mouth. My mustache was in my mouth. You know what I'm saying? I couldn't. I was eating food. I was chewing my mustache. I was like, "Yo, can I cut my mustache, bro?" Yeah, I was pushing it to the side. So anyway, but that kind of thing, you know, like being able to call the best out of us in the face of obstacles, in the face
Yeah.
of difficulty, and be
Yeah.
able to shine through, even though that's just wonderful, man. So I'm like, yo, put the even playing field out there for everybody, for all people, and whoever works, let them get the reward that they deserve.
Yeah.
Yeah, that'll be the wish.
That'll be the wish. And it'll be so. It'll be
For
so.
sure.
I hope we're around to see it, but it'll be so.
Well, it's
It'll be
happening anyway.
it's happening.
It's
Yeah.
happening anyway, yo,
Happening.
regardless. I don't think they can stop it.
Man, thank you so much for being here,
Yeah,
man.
thank you, sister.
You're the best. You're the
Thank you.
best. There are no words. I'm glad we finally got to do this interview. You know, I wish you nothing but prosperity, peace, continued success, um, and just know that you have honored yourself and your father tremendously, tremendously. Um, you make me want to live in a way uh, where I give absolutely everything I have to whatever it is that I love. You every single time that I talk to you. As a matter of fact, I might even be afraid sometimes because there's no way I could be in your presence and not be inspired to give everything I have to what I love. And it's so perfect that I'm talking to you tonight at this time. And so just thank you for your willingness. You're an amazing black man, an amazing husband, an amazing father, an amazing brother. Um, you're just amazing son, you know, and I just pray that all your wildest dreams come true.
Sure, thank you. I wish it back to you sevenfold.
Thank you, and I received that. Thank you to everybody who listens and supports Black Oasis. You can follow us on Instagram at Black Oasis ATL and on YouTube at Black Oasis. And until next time, stay black, but you don't really have a choice. And lucky you. Peace.